Alright, so this is the DJI Mini 3 Pro. To open this bamboo, you open up the wings first, so it has propellers, 4 propellers, on each core of the drone, really. And there you have it. This is how it looks like. And to power this batch, before I power it on, let's take a look at underneath. Underneath here, we have landing guards. We have the motion sensors. As motion sensors is underneath. We have the charging port and when memory card goes. This is the actual battery that clips on at the side here. Just pull that out. Boom. And then in the front is where we have the gimbal area, so the actual camera, and where it stabilizes. And then we have 2 more sensors over here. It's very useful to avoid crashing to objects while you're flying. And then lastly, how to turn this thing on. It's right here. A little tricky, but what you gotta do is you gotta press it twice, and on the second press, you essentially hold. So 1, 2, you hold it. Just that, and then to see the camera calibrating, and then hear the ding sound, and indicate that it is turning on. And then from there, what you essentially want to do is you want to grab the remote, also do the same thing. So on 2 holds, you hear a similar sound. And if you've set it up before, then it will essentially boat up together and it will recognize that the drone itself is on. Then you can go into fly mode. When it's starting. All our wing flats start up, it can kind of just tell you a little bit about the remote. These are pretty much your directional sticks here, right? So left, the right, we'll go into second mode. C tier power mode, C and S. So S for sport mode, S is for cinematic, N is essentially just neutral. And then this button right here is the return to home button. So once you engage the drone, it goes up into the air. It'll tell you that it has found its home point. So it essentially means that the GPS has tracked where it has started from. So in the case that you were flying in, it's at a far distance and needs to return back to home automatically, you just press this and it'll essentially pinpoint the exact same location that you started at and it'll return back to home. Very important in the case that you lose signal with the drone and you need to come back home. This is essentially what this feature is for. So it is one of the most important features whenever you're flying your drone. This here indicates, your battery level. So obviously if it's 4 green, lights there, then you're at a full charge. It lasts a long time, really. I fucking had it powered on for, hours on end, and it seems to do the trick. If we go to the top here, the top, as you can see, there's a little emoji for camera, since it allows you to take pictures. This one here is to record video, so you can seamlessly go, from one to the other. This one here is essentially like the zoom in button. So if you need to, zoom in, when you're in the air, now you're able to, do that. And this one here is to essentially, go up and down. So this essentially adjusts the view of the camera going vertically, up and down. So that is, it's also very needed so you can shoot different dynamics and different ranges of. Alright, so in this video, we're essentially going to show you the different functionalities and different capabilities of the remote and how that plays a part to fly the actual drone. Okay, so right now, we're not actually going to show you, the drone in the air. We have it landed at the moment, but we'll show you everything else, on the remote and how it works. So this feeling you see at the moment, a lot of fancy things here, but they're very, very simplistic. So the bottom left, we have here the actual map. So it's very important. If you want to see where your drone is traveling to or where it's situated, you'd press right here. I'm ready to show you. I mean, ours is not in the air, but it would essentially show you exactly where it is. So that is, good. What direction it's, pointing into right now. We have it landed, but our drone is pointing. It looks like between the southeast. And then over here, what we have is, if you want to play back, any footage, you'd press that there. And this is the record button because it's obviously in video. 1x is essentially just a view. You can make it 2x if you want. No, I think it goes up to okay, so 1 or 2x. This is automatic focus. I mean, if you want to make it manual focus, it just creates more work on yourself, but sometimes you're able to get more raw and direct shots, more intentional shots that way. This one here is if you want to, is really good for Instagram shorts, Instagram stories, if you want that vertical view, more like portrait mode. Recording, this is what that is for, but for me, use a lot for YouTube, so I put it in landscape. Okay, and on the top here, we'll go I'll show you all this simplistic, features, and then leave the more in-depth ones for another video. But we have the battery level here, so right now we're 95% charged. If I was actively recording at the moment, which I can just show you as a test, okay? Then what happens is, right underneath the recording video, you can see how long it's been actually recording for. RC and the bars beside it essentially shows you how many bars a signal you have, so essentially the connection between the remote and the drone when it's in the air. Obviously, when it gets down to like the 1 or 2 bars, you really want to be careful because if you lose signal with it, you're relying on the return to home for it to come back. So yeah, there's that. You would take off with caution, no GPS. You never want to fly your drone if you still actively have this message there. Once you have it in the air, it takes a couple seconds before you hear the drone say GPS point, has been located, and that when it says that, you are safe to go ahead and fly your drone. Why do I want to fly your drone with this message here is because it's saying no GPS. So essentially, if you take off and you have it located, your starting point, or hasn't done that automatically, you're risking the drone not returning back home because it didn't set its GPS location to start. Okay. So now with these buttons here, also we've run through it in the previous video, but this power is returned home. We have the end of normal mode, or sport, and then we have the cinematic. Now the good thing about sport is that it goes a lot faster, but just as the prompt said there, is that you pretty much avoid the obstacle avoidance feature because it's going so fast. So in other words, if you're going towards a tree, the motion sensors are not going to actually stop you from flying into that tree if you're in sport mode. If you're in all the other modes and you're essentially flying toward a tree, it'll actually stop probably about a meter or 2 right before the tree because it's sensing that there's an object in front of it. So for all intensive purposes, majority will just fly their drones not in sport mode unless there's an actual reason why you need to fly, very, very fast and it's in an open, area. Cinematic mode is, slow speed. People use it, whenever they're shooting movie-like type, videos or photos or anything like that. So that, has its own purpose. But for me and for most people that use drones, for just their do-it-yourself or just for, leisure, we essentially, just use it in normal mode. It's, more than capable of doing whatever you need to do with us.